So I said, okay, what does a 21st century school look like? I was fortunate enough to write the design brief for the architect for a school that we were going to put up in another city. And we just sort of revisited what we've been doing for so many years and said, okay, let's dream, there's no harm, and see what we can achieve. So we said, okay, every classroom would have a breakout space, would have a garden. We don't want a big garden in the front of the school, which is very impressive, but doesn't work for kids. We want spaces which can expand and contract depending on what you're doing as part of the curriculum. We wanted a school that could speak to our children, because if there's a building that doesn't speak to students, it's a big loss. How does a building speak to students? Which means you don't use false ceiling. You let children explore the spatial part of their mind by showing them beams, trusses, whatever. Let them see it. One day, they will work on it, they will act on it, it'll come back. We said, should we set up a museum? Because the very act of children contributing to a museum brings forward certain sensitivities in these children. Then we went on to say, why build one room as a museum? Why doesn't the school become a museum? When you say museum, you're always looking at one of these famous museums and stuff which is few hundred and a few thousand years old. We were not looking at that. We said, go back to your nana, nani, and you find something which is 60 years old, bring it. We'll put it up there. You will research it. You will write a narrative on it. I will give you space in the school for it. It could be in the walkway, on the corners. You could do stuff on the floor tiles, which speaks to children. The school should be a living textbook for different kinds of technologies that we use. Windmills, biogas, have a water body, waterless toilets, everything to do with the way that you want them to conduct their adult lives and be sensitive to. The campus shouldn't reflect waste. It should actually flow easily into the community around you. It shouldn't be a very isolated kind of campus. Children should talk about materials, processes, technologies, think about them, research, discuss. So that said, okay, we need a design and tech lab for that, because that's where this is studied. All this comes together in a design tech lab. Then we said, okay, what are the drivers in the future? The one thing we could relate to at that time, because we don't have this large overview that people in industry have. We said with robots, okay, fine. So we said we'll set up a robotic lab. Of course, essential there, which is just a side point, but important.
Chris, we'll have to wrap this in a minute.
Oh, sorry. Is that you need to have a curriculum for robotics. Don't just set up a lab. You have to show them what they can do after that and after that and after that. So if you have to invite a robotic surgeon to meet with those kids, it's important because they can see where the hobby is going to take them. I'll go quickly now. Energy dashboard on every floor. How do I expect our students to react to energy and the crisis if they don't know how much we've consumed and they can't react to it? So every floor should have an energy dashboard which tells you how much water you used, how much electricity you used. Let children react to it. Okay, now I'm coming, labs. The last is labs. Labs, not enclosed rooms with walls, but labs like a shop with big glass windows. So children passing in the walkway could see what's happening inside, and you can showcase the stuff you do in your laboratories. They don't have to enter the room to see, because that inspires them. But what was crucial for us was technology. I just might exceed a little, but I need to spend a little time on this, because we found a lot of merit in the use of technology. And I want to take you through this journey a little bit, because I'm sure a lot of school leaders have similar problems. We started in 2013, and we said we want to stream our classes live for every student who was sick at home. They have internet. Why can't they stream this class live? Can I simultaneously can it on the library server? So if the child is too sick, you can come back to the lesson later, anytime. You're preparing for your half-yearlies, finals, UTs, get back. You don't need a tutor, get back to your own teacher's lesson on the topic that you want. It's all there. But somewhere along the line, we realized, before that, we went into hardware and we said, okay, we need tablets. Then we found tablets without the power of a laptop. Then we said some children need keyboards, so can we get one with a detachable keyboard? We did that. Then they said, no, we want a laptop with a detachable keyboard. So we did that, about 10 pieces, and this went on through the year. And finally, somebody said, what about a stylus? The maths people want stylus, the art people need styluses, and styluses you need because you're very quick, you think, you write, and you capture what you think. So, and that's the time we met Microsoft, and we realized we'd been holding the wrong end of the stick. It's not about the device. It's about the platform. It's about the apps. It's about the software. And all these things which bring back to peer review, collaboration. That's why you need these platforms. And it's not about the hardware. I'll give you a small example of an exam of grade 4. In fact, I asked my junior school, one of the teachers, I said, I have to go to this seminar. Can you just share with me what you're doing? And I didn't even know what she was doing. And these are grade 4 children. They said, we just done a project. They call it units of inquiry under the PYP. It's about conflict. So I said, what did you do? Said all the kids were using their devices and they got onto a class note, which allows you to collaborate, share everything. Everybody's thoughts are captured. It could be individual, then you share it later. So we started looking at conflict within the classroom. Then we actually pushed this using another app to all our parents for them to do a survey within their organizations about what are the causes of conflict. All that came back, that information came back to the class as a survey, and they had their results. Then they decided to Skype. Sorry, before that, they looked at the world and said, okay, where are the continents where there's a lot of strife? I know there are many, many countries with strife, but I think they picked a few of those, which were more the bigger problems. And they actually Skyped with a school student in that very area which was strife-torn to get real-world examples. And all this comes back, and they share, and they discuss, they collaborate, and they start forming an opinion. Then the teacher downloaded some videos for them and put that on the class note. That was from UNICEF about conflict and conflict resolution. Then they used a calendar app to make the conflict manager of the week. And I thought this was so, so wonderful. And it is an example of how you use technology, doing what you're doing, but you're just leveraging it. You're just getting more people involved. You're just getting more voices into it to allow you to form an opinion. You could still be a little different, that's fine, but to be able to form an opinion, and you're using technology to do that. We're also using software, which for student mapping, which not only has academic mapping, it has behavioral mapping. It tells you about the child's medical condition, how many times did the child go to the hospital and for what. And the whole idea is that if you can map your student better, you deliver what the student needs better. There's a closer fit. So our experience, we've sort of fallen by the wayside once in a while, but our entire experience was using technology for 21st century learning has been extremely positive. And the reason that we could move a little forward, because just when we needed and we felt that we've been making too many mistakes and we need a technology partner, we just happened to meet Microsoft. I don't know whether they called us or we called them, and after that, this whole thing sort of fell into place. We understood where we were going wrong and what we needed to concentrate on. And I would advocate for all school leaders to have a look at this. It's not very daunting, though it looks very daunting. Take small steps. Just see what is it that I can do tomorrow morning rather than think that what is it I can do and look at a result 5 years down the line, because sometimes that becomes a little daunting. Take it small, tell your teachers, because everyone has different resources, have different curriculums, are located in different places. have different awareness levels within the school. So what is good for me may not be good for in the same form and shape as the next person. But I think you can all get onto this path. And if I can help in any way for anybody who's here in the future, or Vinny, I'm sure I'd like to take that up. Thank you.